All right, so cravings. Guess what? Cravings are inevitable. How we handle them is certainly optional. You know, the other interesting thing about a craving is that it only lasts about 15 minutes. Sometimes it seems like it lasts all night long, but studies have shown a craving actually only lasts 15 minutes. So it's not if we get the craving, it's when we get the craving and what we do about it. And we should know that there are, 3 different kinds of cravings. The most common craving is the psychological craving. You open your cabinet and there's a box of chocolate chip cookies staring you in the face, or somebody brings home a pizza and you smell the pizza. So it involves the senses of, seeing, tasting, even hearing a commercial on TV can trigger a psychological craving. The physiological craving is much more difficult to deal with because it typically occurs after you've already cheated, if you will. Let's say you had a chocolate chip cookie. Well, your blood sugar is going to rise very quickly, and then two hours later it's going to drop. And once your blood sugar drops, our adrenaline level kicks up high, it causes anxiety, and the only way to fix that is to have more sugar. So that craving is certainly much more difficult to deal with than a psychological craving. The third type of craving really stems from food addiction. Like any other substance, we can become addicted to certain foods, primarily sugar, salt, and fat. From the time we're kids, we've been rewarded with sugar, salt, fat. So it's no coincidence when we're on a diet that all of a sudden we feel anxious or irritable, that we want to reach for sugar, salt, fat to make us feel better because that's worked for us for so many years. Okay, so how do we combat a psychological trigger? Well, the first thing to do, which is very easy, is don't buy those foods that are going to trigger you and don't bring them into the house. However, if you have small children or a spouse or significant other who likes these products, keep those products all in one cabinet and make that cabinet taboo for yourself, so you're not constantly opening the cabinet every 5 minutes and seeing, chocolate chip cookies staring you in the face. Well, the first thing to know about a physiological craving is it's not that 6th cookie that gets you, it's really the first bite. Because once you have that first bite and the sugar is introduced into your bloodstream, you're going to crash and you're going to want more. So stay away from the first one. And the other thing to do about a physiological cravings, or to prevent them, is to eat every 2 to 3 hours so your blood sugar stays nice and steady and you don't have highs and lows that cause these cravings for sugar in particular. Food addiction is just as real as being addicted to alcohol or drugs. It's an addiction. And the first thing to do with any addiction is to realize that you have a problem, that certain foods are addicting, and once you start, you can't stop. The second thing that we need to do if we have a food addiction is to realize that you can't fix this yourself. All your best thinking got you right here. And the final thing to do is to get help. We have a lot of help available for you, either in person at our clinic or through our online resource center. So now you know that cravings are inevitable. Giving in to them, however, is certainly optional. We discussed the psychological craving, the physiological craving, and of course, food addiction. So now you have the tools available both in our online resource center and in our clinic to help support you and get you through cravings.